This channel is made possible by viewers like you. My viewers, subscribers, and patrons greatly help to keep this channel going. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of you. Please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any uploads. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you'll get access to what I'm working on, previews of upcoming content, and even early videos, along with other tier options for those that are interested. Thank you, and now on to the video. A few weeks ago, I dove into Wanted Dead. Critics seemed to universally hate it, or didn't even bother to cover it in some cases. User reviews are kind of mixed on it as well, and this is the sort of thing that gets me interested in a game. My initial thoughts after playing 2 of what I think are 5 main levels was that it had areas that could use more refinement, but overall I was having fun with it. Yes, it was cheap at times, but for those 2 levels I was really enjoying it. The more I played the game, the more this game honestly broke me. I still had a bunch of fun, but the further I went, the more I was frustrated with new issues or the old ones previously stated getting a lot worse, ramping up towards the end. A friend of mine described this game as a Contra mindset, with how hard and honestly cheap it can be, and I would have to agree that Wanted Dead feels like a title made with the SNES mentality, of making a short game that is really hard and will take a while to beat. So let's dive back into Wanted Dead. Wanted Dead is an action game that combines violent swordplay with over-the-shoulder shooting. You have a decent array of combos you can perform, along with a quick-draw handgun that you can mix in. The handgun cannot be manually aimed, but rather it uses an auto-target type system. This used with the swordplay allows for some fun combos. Shooting-wise, you'll have your main gun, and any secondary you find, like shotguns, SMGs, explosives, and others. There is a cover system here, but no dedicated button for cover. If you are close to a wall, you'll sort of snap to it. This may sound like a lot, but the game does a good job of using the first level as your learning space, without it feeling like an overlong tutorial. Impact-wise, the game is very violent. Whether you are shooting or slicing, it's over-the-top fun. For defense, you have a dash, you can parry attacks, and if you're about to be hit by a critical hit, this is shown as red. You can fire off your pistol, and then this will leave the enemy open to attack. The swordplay mixed with the guns creates a fun flow to the action. By having both styles, it means there's room for the player to lean into one more than the other, depending on the player's preference. There's some light upgrading and customization for your main rifle and pistol as well. I have some issues with some of the bosses, but the first few are rather good. The first 2 are a big Metal Gear spider tank and a one-on-one fight. There's some more one-on-one fights for these encounters, and I wished we had more bigger mechs to take down. Then there's the Yakuza-like elements with all the minigames. Some are fun, like a retro shooter, and others are like that annoying arcade crane game that no one likes. These overall are decent distractions. Now this brings us to the story. I don't even know where to start with this, because honestly, I had a hard time really following it. Like, I got some points and enjoyed the interplay between the team, but if you needed me to summarize the narrative, I couldn't. And it honestly is something that should be experienced. A lot of this comes from the voice acting. This is some of the worst voice acting from a full-price game I have heard in years. Some characters sound like they are just learning English for the first time. The delivery is all over the place. And oddly enough, this is not a negative at all. It firmly lands in the so bad it's good category. There are moments of humor in the story, and then there is lots of accidental funny stuff. There's also some anime-style cutscenes thrown in, and this was an unexpected surprise. I really like these a lot.
Is there some other route we can take? Don't! Enemy troops!
I have some eggs. Beans, said?
I can fix everything. What you should do is understand effects of rifle weight and handling length on shooting performance.
Meaning?
Either you gain weight or your rifle has to lose some.
I'm not giving up my mods.
Wanted Dead has a bunch of flaws. For one, the grenades need work. There is a grenade indicator that pops up, but doesn't always show you, and you can still get hit by the explosion. This would just be annoying if the damage wasn't so high, but oftentimes one grenade can be life or death, along with enemies throwing several at you. There is a sound effect for when a grenade is thrown, which was a big help, but the visual information was all over the place. Many times I get hit by one and I didn't even know I was within its range. This is made worse when the fire bombs are introduced in level 2. Level 3 is where you're hit with your first difficulty spike. These heavy mech guys are very tough to fight, and you fight not just one but two on the rooftops. They can take a beating and cause you to go back to your checkpoint easily. After enough time with the game, I found the best way to beat them is to cheese them. Pin them with a firebomb so they can't rush you, and then just keep shooting them. Now after level 3, the game really ramps up, and it was a surprise to me that we were already heading towards the ending. This is also where the game needs the most work. It was a test of will to get through some of these sections with the poorly placed checkpoints, and too many cheap enemies, from the ninjas that can take a beating to more of those mechs. I quit and picked this game back up a few times in the back half of the game. Now I do want to state that when I beat these parts it was very satisfying, but I would never want to play this game in its current state again too. Grenade launcher enemies are introduced and can quickly wreck you, and dodging them can feel impossible at times. The further I went, the cheaper it felt. Levels 4 and 5 go on for far too long. These parts feel like a slog. Wanted Dead needs better balancing, especially on the normal difficulty. Some checkpoints are poorly placed and enemy arrangements feel more done to cheaply kill the player rather than challenge them. Also, the level design takes a hit in level 5 with many narrow fights. This game and its camera are not made for these parts, and it's simply not fun here. Honestly, the game is at its best for levels 1, 2, and most of 3. I got very close to the end, and it was at this point I decided to call it quits. Overall, Wanted Dead is a game that I found equal parts frustrating and honestly really fun. Most of the first 3 levels were really enjoyable. I like the shooting swordplay and how it all mixed together. The over-the-top violence was a nice touch as well. I had no idea what was going on in the story, but the so bad it's good voice acting definitely added to the charm. Now while I had a lot of issues with the balancing and the cheapness of it, I do not want the developers to simply make an easy mode so that you can cakewalk it. I want the rough elements to be bettered and refined so that we have more of a challenge but a fair experience, especially on normal. If they ever make some big patches to this, I want to give it another try again. Also, I hope we see this developer give this genre another go. I think they have something here and need more time to make it great. So do I recommend Wanted Dead? That's not an easy question. If you want a very old school challenge with all the cheapness, then maybe try it on a sale. I would not recommend this game to a casual player, unless they were your friend and you could watch their reaction. Have you played Wanted Dead? What were your thoughts on it? And let me know in the comments below. If you're interested in being notified of new videos, please hit the subscribe button and bell. And if you would like to support the channel and get early access to content, please check out my Patreon. All of the links will be at the end of this video and within the description. And thank you very much for watching.